my topic is about the spacesuit. Some of my topics are related, like the rovers and spacecraft, but spacesuits are just as important because how would astronauts get into space and explore the planets? The spacesuit is meant and designed for humans to feel like they're on Earth. Since space conditions are so harsh, this spacesuit has to have many layers to protect the human inside. Also, it has special parts for the human to specially adapt to the space. Think of you're on Earth. This is the idea that scientists want when astronauts are on space. They want the suit to feel weightless. It's not that heavy. And just like we wear winter coats, astronauts wear spacesuits to protect themselves. Some of the important parts on a spacesuit are a life support backpack. A life support backpack contains all the air and oxygen needed for a space travel. Astronauts can stay on up to 8 hours on a planet, whether it's the moon or later Mars. So that's why they always have these water absorbent diapers. Pretty cool, because these water absorbent diapers can be used multiple times, and once the water is absorbed, it will soak in all the water, so that's why the astronauts won't feel like their bottom is wet. Another part on a spacecraft, on a spacesuit, this is an ISS spacesuit, so it's used on the International Space Station. These astronauts will wear the spacesuit to repair tools or any leaks outside in space on the ISS. So that's why they have a tool belt with all these tools. They also have a strap to connect them to the ISS or the spacecraft they're holding it on so they don't flow away while doing their mission. And can't you believe how bulky it is? It's so bulky that they can't even see what the control panels on their chest. So that's why they have to have a mirror to read all the life support or rescue units. There's also thrusters on the wrist. This is in case the astronauts get separated from the International Space Station. If it's short enough distance, there's mini thrusters so it can fly back to the International Space Station. But this is rarely used because they have feet that attach to the ISS and also these straps. Astronauts identify each other because of these straps. It's going to be very hard to identify through that really black helmet from absorbing all the sun's light and also that bulky shape of the spacesuit. But the spacesuit also has really important communication signals because without communication, then people in the spacecraft wouldn't know what's happening. That's why astronauts always go into space with a microphone and earphones. These heated rubber tip gloves will help them do their jobs because the heat can help grip stuff, but these gloves have to be put on carefully, or else if there's a hole on it, then their hand or their whole entire body would swell. But if an astronaut did not have a spacesuit on, if they entered space, they would become unconscious in 15 seconds, die within 90 seconds, and then within a day or 24 hours, the body would completely freeze because of the intense temperatures. That's why you always have to make sure that you put on spacesuits right. Astronauts have to prepare early for their mission since in space, even though they're in space, it takes approximately 45 minutes to completely dress. Some of the layers include a water ventilation unit, which has little water tubes that feed throughout the body, and this is to keep the astronaut cool because under 16 layers it must be really hot. So these water ventilation systems reach 300 feet, and this helps cool down the body once they're in space. Lastly, there's this generation of spacesuits. The generation of spacesuits have adapted over time. Like this Mercury one was the first spacesuit. It wasn't really a spacesuit because it was just used inside. Astronauts have 3 types of clothing when they're in space. If they will land on the ISS, they will include this clothes. They have their flight clothes, which means when it's taking off or the spacecraft is flying, they will wear a specific suit, which is not as strong as the spacesuit, which is the second one. And on the ISS, the astronauts are allowed to wear casual clothes, or the clothes that you wear on Earth. The Mercury is the earliest, and it's made of coated aluminum, which is very light. Before, astronauts had to be tailored or measured to get their suits perfect fit. But now scientists think that wastes too much time and costs a little more money because you have to be precise about the measurements. So that's why they invented a suit called one size fits all. Like my art teacher also has aprons that are one size fits all because for all her students, including herself, she needs an apron, and we all do. So that's why one size fits all are more convenient than having each of the students have one apron each to fit their size. The Mercury spacesuit was for flight because the Mercury mission didn't leave the spacecraft, so that's why the materials were lighter. This is the Apollo one that came later in the 1960s. It looks different than what you imagine because from all those famous videos, you would expect it to be white. But this is just the inner layer. They're halfway dressed, and now they have to add the white layer. The Apollo spacesuit was used for flight and in space, so that's why this was used for 2 different purposes. We also have a shuttle suit. And what's a shuttle? A reminder is a shuttle. It launches out like a rocket, orbits around Earth once, and then it lands back like an airplane. So it goes vertically. It doesn't go vertically down or crash into the ocean. It just lands slowly and smoothly like an airplane. And this design was by a fighter pilot suit. Was your mom and dad a fighter pilot? This is similar to what the astronauts were, except they probably had to have more pressure in their suits because to withstand all that pressure in space. You can see that the materials are slightly the same, but they have a helmet on to protect them or feed them oxygen. And lastly, the latest one that is on this book is the XEMU suit, and it's designed for flexible working on the planets. Scientists say you can wear this on the moon and hopefully later even Mars. And inside, if you take off all the layers, you can see flexible tubing, so you can bend the arm in many different ways. And that's why for very precise missions, astronauts might be wearing this bright orange suit color. In conclusion, I think that spacesuits are a wonder of the world because without them, scientists wouldn't be able to get astronauts to the moon. Thank you for listening. I hope you like and subscribe.